How is it just, if you want to talk about justice, how is it just that people are supposed to come to work 2, 3, 4 months, however long it's going to be, and then they without pay, and then if they say, oh no, I need to go get another job, I'm going to call out, they're going to be penalized for that. It's just so unfair all around.
The idea that members of Congress are the ones that should not get paid if there's a government shutdown in the future?
Look, we are trying to resolve differences that people have. This notion that somehow Congress is separate from the American people and we're holding it up because we just don't know. Look, there's a lot of passion on this issue. You will agree with this. I saw the interview that you did just before this. People who want more enforcement. I got people in my district who are upset about what ICE agents are doing, and they want protection from that. We're not fighting over who gets the TV remote.
But no, I'm just saying that if there's going to be another, like, why should it be the TSA agents and those and the government workers that are making a $45,000 a year? They go a month without a paycheck. That it matters to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they should get paid. But also it's kind of written into the Constitution that you can't use the pay of representatives as a leverage point on how to get policy done.
The thing that keep coming.
How about take your pay and donate it to some of them?
Wait a minute. We're talking about federal workers, okay? Congress they're federal workers. Why are they still getting paid when the federal government is partially shut down?
I'll tell you why. Because Congress has carved out exemptions for themselves over the years. They had, I'm just saying, follow the rules, follow the law. No one is above the law. Well, there are people who are above the law, or at least I'll say groups, classes of people, because this is what it comes to. It comes to the everyday American trying to do their best again, and not even doing anything illegal. These people are trying to do their best, pay their bills, earn their paycheck, take care of their families or whatever. And at every damn step, you got the same government that is interfering and impeding them. It should be an exception. Why can't Tyler Perry give them? They're not giving out gifts for bargaining or for political clout. This is a gift to help them pay their bills. $1,000 for however many people he was going to give it to. But yes, there are rules on the books that regulate how much. I got that. But every rule, there should be an exception, particularly when it just makes sense. When the rule is what's kicking your ass, you should be able to clean your ass up and at least take a gift from someone who's offering it to you to feed your family.
I have a better idea. What we should do is when the rules are that way, we should get rid of the people who made those rules. And we do that at election time. And it's coming quickly upon us, because do you remember the longest government shutdown we've had? What was it about? Anybody? Healthcare. Have you heard them breathe a word of healthcare since? Have you heard a Democrat say Obamacare, the ACA since? No, they did it for a reason. They needed a rally point for their party. Here they are again, holding the American people hostage for a rally point for their party. And they will continue to do so, again, because they don't give a damn about TSA workers. TSA workers make up 0 of their electorate. 0. These are the same people that would jump in front of a flying train to save one Somali, because they know Somalis are going to launder some money for them. They're going to vote for them like, they're their first cousins. They'll do anything Democrats tell them to do. So they'll do what needs to be done to protect the illegal or the barely legal for their own power. But for the American worker, let alone their brother or sister, a federal worker, they'll screw them over because I don't need your vote. You're not the vote I'm looking for. And this is what it all boils down to. You watched every single Sunday morning talkie, and I watched probably about 8 or 9 of them. You didn't hear healthcare anywhere. Nobody brought it up. Nobody talked about it. But it was such a big issue that it shut down our government for the longest time it has ever been shut down. Oh, and by the way, they had some really big elections around that time. That's how we got damn Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. Y'all remember that?
Man.
You got to remember that. This is what they do. And they know doggone well that their electorate is not smart enough to figure it out. And they're not going to listen to us telling them what it is. Meanwhile, Whoopi's telling them don't get pregnant.
Yeah. And not to mention, so we have a president now who is about solutions. He's about results, okay? And so President Trump he has found a way to pay these TSA agents. And guess what? The Democrats are furious. This is clip 5. Take a look.
What did Democrats get out of this standoff?
Yeah, well, Margaret, the standoff is not done yet, right? The president is illegally paying, apparently, TSA agents. You had the Senate, as you pointed out with Mr. Homan, pass a bipartisan bill unanimously in the United States Senate to say, look, let's fund everybody else and let's deal with this thorny issue about ICE. And then you had the Republican House say, hell no, we're not doing that.
Wow. Folks, I mean, these people are so brazen. They're going to tell you. They tell you right then and there. They tell you right then and there. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, because they want to keep using this as their little pawn. That's why they're not doing this to benefit TSA or anybody else. This is their little leverage point in this game that they're playing with people's lives. I mean, Americans should not be hoarded. I'm calling it hoarded in airports throughout this country like this. Major modern 21st century airports should not have crowds waiting out into the parking lot and around the building for 4 hours to go through security. I mean, this was all supposed to be handled, not because of this reason, but 911, the Patriot Act, after all the security stuff, supposed to be handling this stuff, getting people through. This is a travesty. These people, I mean, I don't know, maybe the TSA could strike. I don't know. I don't know what they should or can do, but I do know that the government, these legislatures are playing with their lives, their livelihood, and all of them, none of them should be receiving any pay. Again, let me remind you, April the 15th is coming, and we're going to be re-upping that pot to pay these jokers their salaries every 2 weeks. While the TSA and all the travel that we might want to do in the next month or two, I don't know when it's going to end, but we might be affected in those lines. But we're still going to have to pay them and pay for our delayed flights, the flights we miss, any kind of hotels or tickets or whatever things we have lined up, because we might miss our flights, and we still got to pay these jokers. Give us our money back.
Yeah, but I want to talk about, you all saw that was a Democrat who is upset that President Trump has now stepped in. He did this on Friday with an executive order directing DHS to restore pay to TSA employees using available funds tied to airport operations. So back paychecks started hitting accounts as early as today. Actually, these TSA workers are getting paid. And again, he also had these ICE agents redeployed to airports to help guard exits and free up TSA screeners for checkpoints. So again, President Trump is trying to find solutions for the American people. And instead of the Democrats praising him and going back to the drawing board, they're taking off for Easter vacation and upset that he's put out this executive order. Now, you tell me who is against the American people, Nicole.
Listen, I already told you what it was. I don't want to sound mean because it is Holy Week, but let's pretend like it was last week right now. What they like is people who are uninformed, because you're easy to convince. There's a reason why they'd rather teach your kids about dildos than the American Constitution. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they don't want your children to know anything about the history of this nation. There's a reason for that. And as parents, it's up to you to make sure your kids get a proper education. You can send them to public schools if you want to. I know some fantastic public school teachers, make no mistake, but they're far and few in between. Make no mistake, this is what they want. They want an uninformed public, because then all they have to do is present to you an emotional reason for you to vote for them. Because none of these people went home to greet the Easter Bunny. None of these people went home, to go to church. All of them went home to campaign. That's what they're doing. They're campaigning. They're raising money. Look at the Republicans in this long line. I said that over the weekend when they were showing the lines at BWI, Thurgood Marshall Airport in Baltimore. I said, there shouldn't be one Republican Central Committeeman in this state that wasn't at that airport handing out bottles of water in that very long line saying, would you like the taste of freedom? Brought to you by the GOP. The Democrats got you freezing your butts off out here in this weather, waiting in this long line. This is a Democrat shutdown. They're a captive damn audience. Now, I know that sounds a little,
no, it's
extreme,
a good idea.
but I'm going to tell you, in a state where you're outnumbered damn near 10-1, you better do something. You better do something, because people will listen to that CNN that's playing on a loop at the damn airport saying that this is Donald Trump's shutdown. The president hasn't done anything to shut this down. This is wholly the responsibility of Congress.
Yeah.
Wholly.
Yeah. And what about the congressman? It was reported over the weekend. I know Marsha Blackburn and I think another congressman were seen being escorted through the TSA traffic. It may have been 3 different congressmen. It
was the one who was working on Hillary Clinton's campaign. What was her name? With the curly hair, blonde curly hair.
Not Marsha Blackburn.
No,
she was one of them. No, it's another lady. It was two or three other ones. But again, they get special treatment.
And it was the Republican too, with the dark hair.
Yeah, that was her. Yeah,
so listen, they all enjoy those kind of perks. That's a part of being a congressman. There were videos of Bernie Sanders and AOC sitting in first class talking about
Wasserman Schultz.
Who was it, KJ?
It was Wasserman Schultz.
Oh, Wasserman Schultz. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
So it's like 3 or 4 of them, including the one in first class. Yeah, they do. They get, my point is again, they get the special perks, but of course they get them at in this case, to the detriment of the TSA and all the other workers. And we're still paying their salaries. They don't have an unction about, you know what, maybe this doesn't look too good, or,
they don't care.
None of that. They take it for granted. They take us for granted. It is infuriating. It is so infuriating. None of these Americans, they should be reimbursed their delayed or missed flights, all of this stuff, but they won't be. And the TSA, some of them are getting back pay, but these people, congressmen, are still crying, if you will, trying to stop that because they want to keep using them for their own political purposes.
Exactly. It's their ploy for the midterms. Like, we're having a mini convention. This is their ploy to win in the midterms. How much can you make them hurt? How much can you make them hurt? Are you willing to lose a couple of thousand votes in order to win a congressional seat? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Also, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate your support. Also, your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. We do not have sponsors for this program, so you guys are the only way we help to keep us on here. And so that's a great way to support the channel.